Welcome to the One for the Road podcast. My name is Mr. K. Alongside me, as always, C Squared. Tonight's topic: the rise and fall of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. It was a really good initiative. Had some promise, but it appears to be disbanded. It only lasted 10 months. Its original charter was it was going to what they said auto delete on the 4th of July in 2026, but it seems to have come early, and it's a shame. A lot of quick wins early in the game, especially with Elon at the helm. We'll go over some background. What did it accomplish? What it didn't accomplish? Some misconceptions about what it did accomplish, and me and C squared will pontificate on why Doge might have only lasted 10 months instead of its original charter of 18.
Yep. Maybe take this in the direction after that into what is Elon currently up
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So
Up with
I'll let
Elon.
I'll let Mr. K start us out there, man.
Yeah, so a little background. Doge was an initiative started early in Trump's second term. Of course, Doge stands for Department of Government Efficiency. Its stated objective was to modernize IT, believe it or not. We'll go over some of that. I've found out something interesting you'll like, C squared. Maximize productivity and cut excess regulations, and of course, cut spending in the great U.S. federal government. It was first suggested to Donald Trump by Elon Musk in 2024. Was established as an executive order shortly after Trump took term on January 20th. The department, as we mentioned, was scheduled to end on 4th of July of 2026. Musk was the unofficial head of Doge, but left on May 30th, along with three other top Doge officials, which I didn't know about the three other top Doge officials left the
Yeah.
same day Elon did.
Well, and also the legendary Big Balls getting assaulted was probably not helpful whatsoever. So I think he maybe left after being assaulted,
Right,
and
right,
had no immediate leadership there because Elon had flown the coop.
right. Some other quick stats. Dismantled this month came with the announcement that the hiring freeze at Doge accomplishment was over, which wasn't too great. Some quick stats. Doge's budget was only $40 million, which I would say in government funding departments is downright inexpensive.
That's the
Uh,
coffee budget for the FBI, man.
And another further signal of Doge's decline and dismantling was the last Doge.gov post was August 13th, 2025. Doge.gov claims it saved $214 billion. That has been disputed. We'll go into that later. Uh, it also claims to have saved $61 billion in canceling government contracts. That did
Well,
not align, and we'll go into that either as to
yeah,
what contracts
yeah.
were eliminated.
Had it not been diverted, that would have been quite stellar. We'll take anything we can get.
Right,
A
right.
quarter of $1 trillion is nothing to sneeze
Yes,
at.
yes,
So,
yes.
but unfortunately, that's still somewhere on the books.
Right,
On
right. So, let's see some accomplishments. I mean, the obvious one was raise public awareness to areas of gross inefficiencies and peculiar spending by the former Biden administration. The great example of that was U.S. aid when they found out U.S. aid funds were not going to foreign countries but to the New York Plaza hotels to house immigrants.
Yeah,
So that was a wonderful thing.
yeah. Well, I mean, and finding that was a monumental win all of its
Yeah,
own. I mean,
Yes.
finding the fact that people that so even if that didn't, and I'm not defending the big beautiful bill or any of that foolishness that is not conservative at all, but what I am saying is that the fact that he cut off the stream of funds to a bunch of criminal type operations
Right.
is what is excellent all in its own. And because even if it's being spent somewhere else, it's great that it's not being spent in on these criminal organizations.
Right. Right.
So it was,
Exactly.
and it's not just about the government housing people. That money was going to a bunch of NGOs, and
Right.
so,
Right.
dude, this screamed criminal operation because then it got sucked down into the black hole of NGOs, and
Right, right, right. Yeah. Ugh. Another thing it definitely accomplished 300,000 layoffs of government personnel. That accounted to about 12% of the workforce. So, delivering on a campaign promise by Trump about downsizing government, he definitely came through in that area.
well, he was only off by about 50 or 60%, but the, it didn't get all the right departments, but you know what? We'll take what we can get. Good work,
Yes.
Ron.
We will take what we can get. And previous administration, well, Jesus, in your lifetime, has there any been an initiative like DOGE?
Right.
I mean, the only one that was laughably close was Gore. Clinton's first administration, he had Gore, the vice president, like get rid of inefficiencies in government. And again, I think he came up with $1 billion in cuts, if that. But
Yeah.
I don't recall mass layoffs under the Gore plan. And we
Well,
talked about
because
this in a
he's such
previous
a
podcast.
schmuck, dude. I wouldn't believe anything that clown says. And
Right. I mean, they did have, it was a good idea. They had good intentions, but again, there can be intentions and then there are plans of execution and the
exactly,
actual
yeah, yeah,
execution
yeah.
of a plan.
And I don't think,
Uh,
and I don't even think the intentions were there, and probably the execution sucked
yeah,
because he's a big government schmuck and uh, a pathetic liar about climate change, and
right,
so
right. Uh, Other parts, dismantled agencies. We talked about USAID. The other one that really took a hit was the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. Uh, there's some contention and it's in the courts, but 86% of their staff were laid off. So they
yeah,
really want that was really a target. Those
I
two
could have
organizations.
thought of other government departments that needed to be gutted.
Right.
But and I hate to go down the South Park path again, but the most recent South Park showing Pete Hegseth and Christy Nome fighting over who gets to post the footage to their YouTube channel.
Yeah, yes.
They,
There was talk, but I couldn't really find a lot of information about the Department of Education cuts. But we will mention some
yep.
other Department of Education cuts later on. I did not know this, but because of DOGE, the U.S. government sold 443 properties and 47 offices.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Commercial.
that they're bringing some money and getting
Yeah.
rid of real estate like that is always good.
Uh,
Uh, Another great thing, I mean, again, there's a lot of great things here, folks. Reduce non-essential travel and put $1 spending limits on credit cards across 4 government organizations.
yeah, that's there you go. And
I had read, but unsubstantiated that during the Biden administration and even previous Biden administrations, people were getting these government credit cards with these limits, and there was no accountability.
Yeah, that's believable.
So,
That is
yeah, when you
very
put a
believable.
dollar spending limit, yeah, you're gonna have a credit card. It's got a dollar limit.
He should have done that across the board.
Yeah, I think they wanted to. They went across at least four organizations. So again, at least it's something.
Yeah, right.
So tech-wise, I found this amazing. Implemented AI into some departments like the Department of Education, the EPA, and the GSA, and developed a tool with HUD. And one of the tools, which was a riot, was it crawled through all the websites of contractors that they were doing business with. And if they had the phrase diversity, equity, and inclusion, their contracts were terminated.
That's hilarious because they were likely doing nothing anyway
Right, right,
except collecting money.
right. Other things were cut military and education contracts. $900 million in Department of Education contracts were terminated.
Yeah, well, maybe they can go back to the actual states. The money
Right,
can go back
right.
to the states and actually fund education opposed to working for
Yes,
bureaucrats.
yes, yes. It would be nice to have the money go directly to the source for once.
Yeah, exactly.
Another controversial thing I'd say Doge brought was an unprecedented access to multiple personal data banks, including the U.S. Treasury, IRS, HHS, NOAA, and the Social Security databases. Uh, but on, I've got this note on June 6th, the Supreme Court ruled Doge's access to sensitive data, such as the Social Security data, was legal.
Yeah,
It's a government agency. And so, what are your thoughts on that? I have my thoughts. I'll go with you first. The claims that Doge had unfettered, unprecedented access to multiple government databases and personal data.
from as long as the scope of the law was to find fraud, that's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Right.
The
Right.
bottom line is that the government's already got that information. Who else could I give it to other than a hacker?
Right. Right.
That is gonna. So guess what? The government, that's the government's data, and it knows everything it wants to about you. So the
Right.
bottom line is that as long as there was two clauses in there, the sole purpose of this is to locate fraud, and number two, I'm not allowed to keep any of this data. I'm not allowed to train my AI on your personal data. And
Right.
as long as those two clauses were in there, what's the difference? Because the government's got all your information anyway. And
Right. Right. I think there might have been some thoughts or designs of using AI to crawl that personal data, but I'm with you. I don't really got a problem with it. The data's there. We're giving you the data. We all got to pay taxes. So when
right.
we do, we're telling you our life story.
And it right, and it needs and so if you are looking for using AI to simply crawl, I'm accepting two forms of Social Security or whatever. I've dual applied, and I'm 139 years old. The bottom line
Right.
is that you're the age and the fact that these are coming from the same address and a similar name screams fraud.
Right.
And
Right.
so the
Right.
bottom line is that I'm okay with getting at some of that data, because that's how you detect fraud, man.
Right, right. And everybody's like, oh, the Privacy Act is 74 and it's being violated. I mean, we don't have any privacy, folks. Yeah, I mean, we've given all our info away.
Yeah.
I don't know I mean, I have an expectation of privacy in that, yeah, I do not want the FBI at my door because they crawled through the IRS database and, found something, and that's why they're at my door. I get that, but I mean, I think people's expectation of privacy, especially in the digital age, and I'm sorry, folks, yeah, in the 70s when we didn't have the internet, there was a lot more privacy.
Yep.
But a lot of us have given up various degrees of privacy for convenience
Yep.
and other things. So, and to your point, yeah, I never got the sense that Doge was going to evilly or nefariously go through these data banks and leverage information or, some ludicrous claims were like, well, Elon's going to like now use that database and start sending us Tesla mailers because
Yeah.
he had access, and it's just like, even if he did, is that the
Right.
worst thing in the world? You got a Tesla flyer?
Well, so that's what I'm saying is I think there was a clause that said you cannot use this for private use. But if Elon did audit my last four tax returns, he'd know that he needs to send me an 85% off
Right,
coupon for the next Tesla model
right,
and for me to
right,
actually buy
exactly.
that thing. So
Free lithium batteries too, along with it.
exactly for
But
life,
yeah, I'm with you.
lifetime
I
lithium
mean,
battery.
everybody was like, and of course, the loudest voices were, Democratic congressmen. And it's like, you know what? I think I trust Doge with those databases than you guys, the
Yeah,
Democrats.
right,
I mean,
exactly.
you guys are thinking of the nefarious, evil things that people would do with those databases. I never got the sense Elon was going down that
Yeah,
road. Elon was trying to save the people some money.
let's put up a picture of Elon and a picture of Chuck Schumer, and we
Right,
can say who
right.
do you trust more?
Maxine Waters.
Exactly, dude. Yeah,
So, all right. Again, we mentioned this before. Some of the agendas seem to be this DEI purge, and they used AI to crawl through websites. Uh, there's been a dispute over the amount of savings. I won't go into it, but one ridiculous thing I saw was the Democrats countered like, Doge cost us 21.7 billion because we had to pay those 300,000 people. I was like, not for long. And
right.
so they were saying like
If I kept them on
200,000
the
of those
payroll for 10
employees,
years, right,
they were saying, well, those 200,000 employees, they out of the 300,000, 200,000 were paid 8 months after they were terminated. All right.
right.
At 9 months and beyond, they're not going to be terminated. And if we never fill those jobs, that's billions
Right.
of savings.
Yeah,
They're
no,
like,
it's
oh, you paid people for being laid off. I was like, okay, I guess you've never worked in a business. I guess you've never worked in a corporation that has reduction in staff,
yeah, right.
where people are paid after they're laid off.
Yeah, right. No, exactly, dude. That's called a severance package, folks.
Right. So that was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And I'm
So,
not saying that any of these government employees shouldn't have got a severance
oh,
package.
yeah, yeah, they should
I'm
have.
at they absolutely nobody
Right,
should be chucked to the street
right, right.
for for with nothing to keep you rolling, and
Yeah, one of the early initiatives, and they offered a ton of employees a package, and
yeah.
75,000 took it. They're like, yeah, it was a
Mm.
good package.
Yeah, right.
75,000 took it.
Yeah, right.
We've been in those situations
Yep.
where people,
No.
here's a package, take it or leave it. I was like, package is good, I'll take it. Package is
Yeah.
crap, I won't. I mean,
Yep. Right. Yep.
it sounded like the package was pretty good too,
Yeah.
and that was Elon's idea.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's fair. That's so Elon seems like a fair guy.
Right. I mean, he's been in businesses before, so he knows how it
Yeah.
works. So,
I
what didn't Doge accomplish? I got two misconceptions. One was that 20 million people receive Social Security past the age of 100. That ended up being more of a misunderstanding of the database, and here's how it ended up happening. Uh, the mix-up was the fact that 18.9 million people were listed in the Social Security database as being 100 plus years old, but out of that 18.9, 18.4 hadn't received benefits in 50 years. So that means they have 18.4 million were never deleted like they should have been and taken
Right.
out of the database. So it was more like a database error. So, but it did appear there was some fraud of,
500,000 people,
right,
yeah, half a
right,
million fraudulent Social Security
right.
recipients, man.
So it just wasn't as high. The other was that DOGE discovered 2.7 trillion in improper Medicaid and Medicare payments. That was a statement that came out from DOGE, and about 2 days later had to be retracted.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
yeah, everybody's trying to pat themselves on the back. Elon can be that way too. And
right, right.
although
But a lot of the other claims seem to have
I
been
will
really
say
true.
on his latest podcast that he's doing, he is much more subdued and much more factual and seems a lot more mellow and not full of himself.
Right,
And so
right.
that's fabulous.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a really good podcast and new video series he has out on YouTube.
Yep.
Really quick. So, what ruined Doge? I've got two theories. Uh, there's 200 lawsuits against Doge, but I'm wondering, are they going to stand the test of time if Doge doesn't exist? So,
Right.
there's 200 lawsuits against Doge, but
Who are you suing? What
if
entity are
you
you even suing?
dismantle the
Government. A bunch
organization
of
before,
contractors.
right, if you dismantle the organization before they go to trial, is there even a case?
Right, right. I don't understand. Doge was a word. I don't understand who you're actually suing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The other thing I think is Trump's. We talked about this before. I think this is another Trump ego play in that Trump is not a team player. He's never been one. And I think he was jealous of Elon getting all of the credit and fame and press
Yeah.
in the first 4 months when he was the unofficial head.
Yeah. And what you see now in like the Elon podcast, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see if he is not doing a favor for the Don,
Right,
because the Don in the past 2 months it really started with the firing of Elon. It really did. That was
right,
the
right,
first shot over the bow, was him and Elon breaking ways, and then it was all downhill from there, and just stuff that people do not connect with, that his base do not connect with, and he is incapable of explaining to people in detail how this works. And now Elon's podcast is doing
right,
exactly that. So this is almost, in my mind, a little bit of the continuation of Doge. It's not talking about efficiency, but it is somebody rational with who is highly articulate, the detail, explaining to people that that have half a brain exactly what's going on up there, because the Don has completely lost it and
right,
disconnected with his
right,
base, tweeting a bunch of just foolishness and saying a bunch of foolishness with no explanation. Nobody understands what he's talking about, and so you have these 20-minute Elon things that are basically saying, okay, let's discuss the details of what's going on up there. And I think
right,
people appreciate it. I appreciate it, man.
right,
So Elon has, in the past year, Elon has been an incredible benefit, an excellent U.S. citizen, and an incredible benefit to the United States.
right,
And
right,
he's done multiple things, not just Doge, that I think added value to the average American citizen. And
yeah, Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think it's weird with Trump because it's kind of, I think it's a little bit of the sign of the times, but it's really strange. It's first, so he's Mr. Soundbite. I mean, the quick and dirty of my point is Trump is Mr. Soundbite, and
Right.
you're not going to get a lot of, to your point, you're not going to get a lot of details from a soundbite. You're
Right.
not going to these snippy answers to reporters, and these two sentence responses to questions
Right.
are don't relay a lot of details.
Yeah,
And
right. Exactly. No, exactly, dude. And I think the
but
people, some of his base, me being one of them, will start to get pissed off. And like,
right, I mean,
it's dude. If you don't have any details on this, your snippy, snarky eighth grade comments are like viewed extremely negatively. And
right. In his first term, he was Mr. Twitter. He was on all the time, and Twitter's got what, the 188 word limit, so
right.
you weren't going to get a lot of details in his freaking Twitter posts.
Yep.
And what's wild is, so back in the day, I'm going to go on a little media rant here. Back in the day, and I think those days are gone, but there used to be press conferences. And
Yep.
there used to be reporters, and you would ask the president for like 30, 40 minutes questions that he had to answer.
Well,
And now they go through Caroline Levitt, is who's doing that.
yeah, and so General Flynn, which is who was referenced in Elon's latest podcast, and basically is telling the Don, you should have a fireside chat and try and lay out what
Yes.
the plan is. And Elon says he concurs that the Don should do that. I'm
Yeah.
not sure he's capable of doing that.
Right.
And to be honest with you, and so I mean, his fireside chat is, it's hard to come up with 45 minutes of things that people connect with that are not a bunch of gibberish like is
Right.
normally spewed in the speeches he gives and the press interviews he gives.
Right. So, a couple of things. One is, like, a lot of his stuff doesn't go through Congress because he just does these executive orders. So there's no debate. There's no conversations there.
Yeah.
And
Some of that is actually smart because it'd never get through. It'd be stuck there for the rest until he was out of office.
right.
Yeah.
And my last point, which is really incredible, is the only time I saw Trump sit down and talk to somebody for 3 hours was Joe Rogan. And you know why he did that? His son, Trump's son, said, "That would be a good move, Dad, if you want to get elected."
Yeah, right, right. Yep.
So I'm like, do we need Joe Rogan? I think that's the only time we've ever seen the guy sit still for 3 hours and have to answer questions.
Yeah, right, right. And so
So,
yeah, and I mean this I would say I'm just fine with the scenario except for the fact that except for the fact that these are big issues that are coming up, and
right.
he's making some big decisions
Yes,
right now.
yes.
So,
Yes, Venezuela is big. All right, we'll wrap it up here. You can catch us on email at onefortheroadpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website, onefortheroad.net. I've actually been altering content, putting in links for episodes, so check it out, folks. It's going to get better. Working on transcripts too. Coming soon. So been doing transcripts of our older episodes. We're up to 31 episodes, which is awesome. You can catch us on 3 audio platforms, those being RSS, Spotify, and Podbean for C Squared. This is Mr. K. Have a good week.
thanks for tuning in, folks.